I'm back from Disney and ready to jump into every single thing that I missed while gone. As you can tell, I have a bit of a complexion change here. This is apparently what happens when you go outside and touch grass for an entire freaking week. Admittedly also, what happens is you get way behind with everything going on in the genre. So let's just go ahead and start covering these topics one by one, beginning with Tribe 9. I freaking loved Tribe 9. Guys, this was my favorite gacha game of 2025. This was my favorite gacha. I played so much of this game. Okay, admittedly, I did not. I never even played Tribe 9. And there is a reason for that. Like, okay, just give me a second here. Listen, hear me out. This was a Japanese gacha game. I have a bit of an aversion to Japanese gacha games, in so that I see a Japanese gacha game and I think to myself, that looks really freaking good. I wonder how long it'll last before the Japanese developer goes, you know what? Let's just shut that down. Yeah, let's just try to milk every cent we can and then shut it down. That's what goes through my head. And the reason for that is because every single Japanese developer, almost anyway, in the gacha sphere and the MMO sphere as well, do that. Japanese devs, while they essentially created the entire anime RPG phenomenon, have completely lost touch with it. And other countries, Korea, China, have eclipsed Japan. Now let's talk about exactly what happened. Tribe 9 announced end of service. I was made aware of this over on my subreddit, which you should be subscribed to, a member of. I strongly urge you to go on over and do that right now. Important end of service announcement. Thank you for your continued support of Tribe 9. We regret to inform you that service for Tribe 9 will be terminated on November 27, 2025. Since the game's launch, the development and operations teams have strived to provide excellent service and improve. Yeah. No, they have not. However, after careful consideration, we have made the difficult decision to end the game's service. Unfortunately, this also means that we're unable to deliver Chapter 4 of the story, which we had previously announced. We apologize for the sudden nature of this announcement to all of our players. Information regarding the service termination schedule and any related procedures will be made through in-game notices and on the official website. So you might be wondering to yourself here, hey Stix, what happened? What led to this inevitable outcome here? Tribe 9 released a few months ago to critical acclaim. Like, people were ecstatic when they played it. It was beautiful, it played great, the story was cool, but the game itself was absolute horseshit. So the devs, after receiving a significant number of complaints from players, decided, oh, we're gonna make some absolutely enormous changes. And players received this very well. Players were absolutely ecstatic that the devs, for all intents and purposes here, listened. They were making alterations to their game to make it better for the customer, for the consumer, for the player, for you. Unfortunately, at this juncture, pretty much everyone had quit. The majority of players said, well, you know what? You don't value me as a player, so why should I play your game? And then they left, and that was it. They never bothered to come back, which led to the inevitable decline in revenue. Nobody was playing it, nobody was spending money. Let's see how many people were actually playing this over on Steam. Peak, almost 10,000, 24-hour peak, 200. Yeah. This saw over a 95% drop in concurrent players. Over 95% of people noped the fuck out after they were treated like absolute trash from the developers. Before we go any further, I do want to take a moment here to thank all of my incredible patrons over on Patreon and my YouTube channel members who allow for me to continue to do dedicated videos like this every single day. You guys are absolutely phenomenal, and I genuinely cannot thank you all enough for the support. Regarding future updates and new content, all scheduled updates and new content releases have been canceled. Additionally, new features, adjustments, and known issue fixes previously announced via in-game notices will not be implemented. With the termination of service, the addition of Ichinousuke Akiba and Saizo Akiba to the game, which were originally scheduled on the roadmap, will also be canceled. So, you know, instead of actually allowing players to play the content and to use the characters we've already created, we're just gonna say, nah, and just cancel it all. Just trash the entire thing. Holy crap. Due to this change, the consumption of paid Enigma entities used to unlock ARM support and advanced support, as well as to purchase contract levels for support contract revenue, where Saizo Akiba's skin could be acquired, will be refunded. Okay, so they are refunding a very limited amount of purchases. Refunds for paid Enigma entities will commence after support contract revenue ends. Purchases of items within the app or through the web store. As of the 14th of May, paid Enigma entities and daily passes will no longer be sold. Enigma entities will continue to be available for use even after the 14th. We hope you'll continue. Wait, so the majority, I'm sorry. Did I read that correctly? The game existed for a grand total of 3 months. Players spent a ton of money in your game. And then you announce an end of service. A big middle finger to your players. And instead of allowing them to continue playing for that extended period of time, allowing them to consume the content that you've already created, instead of refunding them for the very, very minute length of time you were online, you decide, you know what, we're just gonna hit you up with a very small refund here. Very small refund. But everything you've spent pretty much up until this point, that's ours. What the actual fuck, dude? This developer, this studio right here does not care about its players. Not at all. This is obnoxious. Y'all didn't even try, bro. Exactly. No way, huh? This is sad because the game is actually pretty fun. Game based on a mid to good anime with mid character designs. Maybe it was a mistake to develop in the first place. Any gacha game that starts and ends its service in the same year should refund any purchases made by players. Exactly, this right here. This is absolutely disgusting. This is a scam, an absolute scam of a game. If you shut down your game within a few months of launching, people are paying to play, paying to obtain things in your game, you should refund them. This right here, this is vile. I would never, ever trust this developer. What is their name even? I think Akatsuki Games, right? Yes, down here, Akatsuki Games Incorporated. This right here, I would never trust this studio ever again. They do not care about you. They do not care about your money. This right here is one of the biggest gacha scams of 2025, and y'all fell for it. I cannot believe it that this actually genuinely had the potential to be such a good game. And for all intents and purposes, it was. But just sheer incompetence and greed ruined everything. Good fucking riddance. I know you think that you just hit the end of the video, and technically, yeah, you have. And I know your first reaction is to close out of it at this juncture, but don't. No, instead, I urge you to take a moment here and click one of the videos on screen that are coming up in just a moment so you remain up to date with everything going on in the gacha genre. Trust me, you're not going to regret doing so. Stay flaccid.